Hey guys, I'm coming at you again with another tech video. Today's video is going to be over Hyper-V. In a nutshell, what Hyper-V is you're essentially making a virtual computer within your physical computer. So in my case, I have a Windows 8 operating system on my computer, which consists of a solid state drive, a hard disk drive, processor, and motherboard and all that stuff, right? So what we're going to be doing is making a virtual version of my physical computer within the Windows 8 operating system. That's how I like to explain it. There's probably a way better way of explaining it, or a textbook way of explaining that, and I'll leave links down below on where you can read up on this, but essentially that's what it is. So I'm running this on Windows 8. This could work for other versions of Windows, but in my case I'm running Windows 8, and I'm going to show you how to do it in that. The reason you might want to make a virtual machine, and the reason I'm making a virtual machine, is for a future video. In the future video, I'm going to be showing you how to remotely log in to any other computer using the TeamViewer app. So instead of having to use another computer, I can just make a virtual machine on this computer and do it all from here. So there's various applications that you can use virtualization for. You can use it with multiple operating systems such as Windows, Linux, and even Macintosh. But again, that would be kind of a Hackintosh computer because I'm running a processor that isn't really supported by the OS X architecture and build. So that's a whole other story. I'm getting off topic a little bit, but make sure before you start any of this that the processor that you have does support virtualization. And a quick Google search can help you with that. So if your processor does support virtualization, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm in Windows 8 and I went to my control panel, so make your way over there. Your view might be category or small. If it's small icons, go to programs and features and we'll get started there. If you have the category view, just go to programs, then programs and features. So once you're in programs and features, go ahead and go to turn Windows features on or off. Then you'll get this window here. As you see, I already have Hyper-V selected since I have done it before, but go ahead and select that. Go ahead and check that and then hit OK. And then in your case, you'll probably get a little message saying that you need to install some services and components and such. Go ahead and do that. It'll probably ask you for a reset. Go ahead and do that as well, and then we'll get started after that. Okay, so once you're back in your computer after the restart, go ahead and go to your start menu and then navigate to all your applications and type in Hyper, and then Hyper-V Manager should be one of the options that pop up, and then you'll get this. You won't have this virtual machine already made here. This is one I've made before with Windows 7. But I'm going to show you really quick how to actually create a virtual machine. I'm going to make a quick Linux virtual machine with the live CD. So before we actually get started on making the virtual machine, we have to set up a virtual switch, which is going to give your virtual machine a network interface card and access to the internet if you need it. So let's go ahead and set that up. Go to Virtual Switch Manager, and then as you see, I already have one set up called Virtual LAN, but for you to set one up, you need to select New Virtual Network Switch, and then select External and create Virtual Switch. The other options are there and you can read through them, but pretty much the external one will fuse with your network card on your actual physical computer and give you internet access that way. So then go ahead and just name it whatever you like. I'm going to leave it as New Virtual Switch. And then for your external network, make sure you select the proper network interface card. You might have a wireless and a wired network card, so make sure you select the one that you use for your internet access. And then we also want to allow management operating system to share this network adapter, so leave that as is, and then go ahead and click OK. And then pending on changes, so this is what it's telling you is that your internet's going to go down for a second while it's making the connection, and then it will come right back up. So I'm going to go ahead and X out since I've done it before. And just as a little extra, if you want to delete this for whatever reason and make a new one, just select it and go to remove. That's it. So I'm going to be using virtual LAN for this tutorial. Okay, so once we're back in the main interface right here, we're going to make the actual virtual machine, and you could do that by under the actions pane, going to new and virtual machine, or go to action new virtual machine. Either way, same thing. And then we'll go to specify name and location. Go ahead and name your virtual machine. Usually you can just name it the name of the operating system you are installing on this virtual machine. In my case it's Linux. And then go ahead and choose a place to store your virtual machine. I've actually made a folder. The default folder is going to be C, Program Data, Microsoft Windows, and Hyper-V. So that's on your C drive. But I actually have a separate disk drive that I want to make it on, so I'm going to go ahead and navigate to that by hitting Browse. Alright, so in my second hard disk drive, in the name labeled D, in a Hyper-V folder, and then I made another folder named Linux. That's where this whole virtual machine will be stored in. So now we can go to specify generation. Generation 1 is what we're going to be needing, unless you need the things that Generation 2 give you, which is new, I believe, in Windows 8. The Generation 2 just gives you Secure Boot, SCSI Boot, and PXE Boot, but you have to make sure you have Server 2012 or a 64-bit version of Windows 8 to use Generation 2. But we're going to use Generation 1. Then we're going to go to Assign Memory, and as it tells you right here, you can specify an amount from 32 megabytes to up to, this number is probably going to be different. I have 32 gigs of RAM in my computer, so I have quite a bit to work with. But for you, just use as much as you possibly can and as you seem fit. So I'm only going to go ahead and use 2 gigs of RAM. I recommend if you have 2 gigs of RAM, just give it 1. If you have 4, give it 2. You know, kind of half it. It shouldn't use that much memory, but you never know. So just give it a little bit of RAM or whatever you seem fit. Next we can go to configure networking, and then here's where we select that virtual switch we created. So virtual LAN's the one I created. I'm going to select that. Then go to connect virtual hard disk. This is the actual hard disk that I will create for this virtual machine, and then you can specify the size. I usually just give it 100 for right now, but you can set up to 64 terabytes. All of this will be stored in the D location in that Linux folder, and then it creates another one called Linux and then virtual hard disk. The operating system that I'm going to install, all the files and everything that this operating system will use in this virtual machine will be saved in that, and this is the quota that we're giving it, 100 gigabytes. It won't automatically take up 100 gigabytes of your storage device or your hard disk. It will slowly but surely expand to the 100 gigabytes. So if your operating system, for example, if your operating system is 8 gigabytes, then it'll use 8 gigabytes of that 100, not a whole 100 in this folder. It'll dynamically grow as you use it, just like in a normal operating system, in a normal computer. So now we'll go to installation options, and here there's 2 ways that you can install the operating system. One way is installing the operating system immediately after you create the virtual machine, so that will be the second option here, which I'll show you. Another is installing an operating system later, which I will actually show you after I do this first process. It does the same thing. You're going to be installing the operating system. It's just an option. So let's go ahead and do this one. Select the second radio button for install an operating system from a bootable CD, DVD, ROM, but there's also an image file option. So that's what I'm going to be doing. But if you do have a CD or DVD of your operating system you're wanting to install, just go ahead and select the drive that disk is in, put the disk in, and that's all you have to do, and then we can install it when we start up the virtual machine for the first time. If not, select the second radio button for the image file, and then just go to browse and navigate over to the ISO of your operating system you're wanting to install. So I went ahead and selected a CentOS OS Linux live CD, and that will be what I will install after this virtual machine is created. So in summary, this is all the stuff that we just created and configured, and then we're ready to finish. and it'll go ahead and create the virtual machine really quick. So I actually got an error. I'm going to go ahead and hit close. And I'm going to go ahead and try it again, keeping the same configuration. Hit finish. Okay, the reason it fixed it is because I've created it once before, so I guess it ran into some kind of error. So I went ahead and deleted the old Linux folder that was in that Hyper-V folder, and I went ahead and fixed that. Okay, so your virtual machine is configured and created. Now I'm going to show you really quick how to install that operating system. So this is going to be the first time we turn on the computer, so to go start, and you'll get a nice little preview down here of your boot or whatever is showing up on that machine. You can double click that right there, or you can just right click and connect, and it will pop up your virtual machine. And this is what you get if you selected to install the operating system immediately after you created the virtual machine. If you didn't select that option, then here's the part that you're going to need to do. If you didn't select that option, then you would just have a black screen, not everything that's going on right here. So if you have a black screen, just go to Media, DVD drive, and if you have the actual physical disk of your operating system, go to Capture E or whatever your disk drive is lettered. If you have an ISO of some sort, then go to Insert Disk and navigate over to where that ISO is and select it, and then it should show up here as mine shows up, with the option to eject it after you're done with it. So here we have it. Here is my Linux ISO booted up in my virtual machine, ready to install. Since it is a live CD, it just boots into this environment, and then I do have the option to install it, but I'm just gonna go ahead and close this out. As you notice, I do not have the option to get out of these borders in this virtual machine. I can't do anything else. So as you see down here, it says to release your mouse, press Control Alt left arrow. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and that actually releases it from the virtual machine, and then you can go ahead and do whatever you like. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off and turn off. So that's all there is to installing the Hyper-V feature on your Windows 8 machine and creating a virtual machine in Hyper-V Manager. I hope this helped you guys out. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm really good at getting at those and helping you with any other questions that you might have. If you found this video informative, go ahead and give me a like so other people can find this video and be helped out by it as well. Be sure to check out my channel. I have a whole bunch of other tech videos you might find helpful. I have a Verizon Note 3 series if you have that Verizon Note 3 phone, and I also have a couple of other tech videos for your computer. So go ahead and go to my channel and check those out. Be sure to subscribe as well if you like this video, and I'll be having more videos like these coming out soon. So make sure you're subscribed so you'll get those on your timeline as soon as they come out. Alright guys, so that's it for now. Y'all have a good one.